iko okay. Karibu kwenye kitengo cha pili cha KUTV in the sport, mazungumzo mazuri sana. Kama umenipata nikiongea ni kwa sababu siko peke yangu. Ni kitengo cha pili ambacho nilikuwa nimekuahidi, ambapo tutakuwa tunazungumza kuhusiana ama na mshikadau ambaye anatoa mchango mkubwa sana katika mshikamano wa dini na michezo. Mara nyingi najua watu wanasema nini dini, wana michezo wanakumbuka wakati wanaomba kabla ya mchuano, lakini there is so much intermarriage wakati mambo ya dini na michezo. Kwenye hiki kitengo cha pili tutakuwa tunazungumza na Daktari Jane Kamau ambaye ni mhadhiri hapa katika Chuo Kikuu cha Kenyatta, na ambaye atakuwa na tusaidia kujuana kuhusiana na kuna initiative ambayo amekuwa akiisukuma, na ndio sasa pia tutakuwa tunapata kujua zaidi kuhusiana na hii initiative, kitu ambacho inapania kubadilisha ama inatoa mchango mgani katika jamii. Karibu sana daktari kwenye kipindi.
Asante sana.
Feel free, Kizungu, Kiswahili tunachanganya yote.
Asante.
Nafurahi kupata nafasi kuzungumza na wewe, hasa nikiangalia kile write up na mchango wako kuhusiana na kuimarisha afya ya kuchanganya michezo, na ni kuhakikisha kwamba michezo inawasaidia watu kuwa na afya njema. Kwa kujitambulisha kwanza kuhusiana na labda the initiative ambayo tunazungumzia kwenye hiki kipindi, kwa mtazamaji ambaye ndio mara ya kwanza na kutazama kwenye kipindi, labda tunaweza anza na kujitambulisha na kitu ambacho unafanya.
Asante sana Peter, one, for having me as a guest this afternoon. It's a pleasure. This is the third time I am coming for a talk show at KUTV. And I'm really grateful that this is a conversation that is continuing. And every time I show up, I'm talking about physical activity. One, because I am a promoter of physical activity. At KU, I'm in the Department of Exercise and Sport Science. Here we train using physical activity and exercise to students who will become implementers or instructors of physical activity at different contexts, either in the hospital settings or in the field. Like I've been watching the different things that are happening in the field. The people who are behind the performance that we've been talking about until when I got in are the sports scientists, because we take them through coaching science. And we also have the general practitioners of physical activity in gym. So physical activity is a tool that is used to promote health. And that is what I do in the department. I am an exercise physiologist, and my bias is on how to apply exercise to remedy disease, chronic health conditions. If you bring me a diabetic patient, I may not be able to prescribe the diabetic medicine, but I'm able to walk the journey of healing with the diabetic person through physical activity or any other non-communicable disease. Now, with my passion of physical activity, I'm also a congregant at ACK Canon, Hesbon. And one of the things that we uphold as a university, there are 3 mandates that each one of us has. You teach, and I teach. I'm a senior lecturer. You also conduct research. I am in the journey of doing research. And you also do community service. So for me, my passion is actually in community service. And previously I have served as the Director for Community Outreach and Extension Programs for the university. And you know, when you go to the community, you serve with what you have. You serve with your expertise. My expertise in physical activity. And also training, because I'm a trained teacher. So at Canon Hesbon, the Parish Council, chama kikuu cha kanisa, kiko na vikundi balibali. Idara balibali, mojawapo ni hiyo ya kusomesha na kujali mambo ya health. And I am the chair for that committee at the Parish Council. So training and health. Now how these marry, the sports, the physical activity and health, is because even the World Health Organization recognizes physical activity, exercise and sports to be one of the drivers of health in prevention and also in management. Right? And for us at Canon Hesbon, we want to be a healthy congregant God cannot be served by people who are sick.
Very
God
true.
cannot be served by people who are
Ni kweli.
suffering, whether spiritually or physically or economically. So our trainings are usually geared to wholesome development of that congregant who is at ACK Canon Hesbon. Sometimes we even bring economic experts to take us through financial management and how to create wealth so that we are able to serve our God. We have our Reverend George, and I want to pass his apologies. He's not able to come today. He was actually to come with me, but he's hosting our bishop, the diocesan bishop,
Okay.
because today is a confirmation day and we were the host. So he's the host, being the rural dean of the rural deanery. So I hope you take his apologies. And we are saying we have this forward-looking and very visionary vicar, Reverend George Buru, who allow us to be, so that then we are able to serve God with him. So he gives us his spiritual, nourishment to us as the congregants with his pastoral team.
Yeah.
But then he called upon us, who are experts, to drive other things, and that is how then the training and the health committee is formed, and I lead that team.
Kuna kitu najiuliza kila wakati kitu kikianza, there is something behind it. Uamki tu unasema nataka kufanya. Kuna kitu ambacho inaleta huo msukumo. Labda sijui ni nini ambacho kiliwafanya nyinyi, kwa sababu kanisa zipo nyingi, na kwamba nyinyi mmechagua kufanya hicho. Lazima kuna kitu kiliwasukuma ama kuna kitu mliona ndio kikawafanya mtake kuanza initiative ama to start that initiative ambayo mko nayo.
Hii initiative ya sports, actually this is our second edition and probably we'll be talking about it in detail. Lakini ilianza mahali fulani. Vile tulimpata huyu Reverend George, alikuja pia na vision yake. Na ikawa moja yapo ni kufunza watu yale mambo yanayoendelea nchini and duniani. We want to be at abreast. We want to have, you also want to serve people who understands the things around them. So akaform hiyo training and health committee, the one that will be bringing people to speed with different aspects of what is happening in our society. And so health is part and parcel of it. And the genesis of this is you can't serve God when you are sick. And we have so many preventative measures like physical activity, exercise, good nutrition, and many more. We even have doctors coming on board also to talk about disease, just to drive health and well-being. And also I think we're also coming from the World Council of Churches. They look at churches as healing ministries. They believe that the church is the unit that has solutions to many issues within the society. Be it in health, be it in the environment, they have structures and they have capacity to drive the agenda of health. They have the capacity to drive the agenda of taking care of the environment and taking care of God's creation. Maybe that is where it starts, the training aspect. But when we come to our space now as Canon Hesbon, and the training and the health, we have a whole month that is dedicated to health issues. That is the month of August. So from the day 1 of August, we pick on topical issues in health and bring in the experts to discuss with us and to give us ways on how to either prevent or manage for those that are sick. But we also enjoined 2 more critical activities into our health training, that we do a 15-kilometer walk every last Saturday of the month of August, just to keep people physically active and also come out and celebrate whatever people we are celebrating. Like the t-shirt I wear today was for our last year's health month, where we were celebrating cancer survivors and their caregivers. And we walk and we want to talk about the topical issues within the society for even our neighboring communities to see that it is actually possible. Then the last Sunday of the month, we usually do a medical camp. And the medical camp is not for treatment, it's for screening purposes. Because if you've been following about cancer, there has been a series of cancer even with Citizen TV,
Yeah.
whereby they want to unearth, this demon of cancer and give the correct information to people, right? And so one of the things they have been saying, screen early, so that when you are diagnosed early, it gets easier for treatment. It's the same thing we do, bringing people for screening. So they are screened, and we've been able to pick positive cases and then refer, because we also work in collaboration with partners, refer those cases. So in one of the walks, I think in 2023, most of the people that we were working with, they challenged us as the training team and health committee, and they said walking is not enough for us.
Yeah.
We need a whole sports day. We want to come to our father's house, people call the church our father's house, and have fun as we participate in sport, so that we're able to bond. And as we do that, we are also moving our bodies and we are living active lifestyles.
Yeah.
And coming to sports, you cannot participate in a sport that you have not been training in. So we want them to remain active throughout, ahead of the competitions. So from respective places of stay or of work, whenever they have an opportunity to get into a pitch, if they like soccer, or volleyball, if they like volleyball, they train. And then tomorrow we meet and we see who has been training.
Yeah.
Those who win, quite often, they are the people who have been training. And it's usually a very competitive undertaking.
Yes, sports has no shortcuts. So you have to train.
You have to train.
Let's talk about
but
the
mainly
annual.
It's not even for competition purposes. Mainly is to ensure that people from their respective spaces, they remain active for health and well-being.
Let's talk about the difference. I know being the second edition, kuna tofauti nyingi sana na ile ya kwanza. Kuna vitu mmeona huko mnataka kubadilisha kwenye hii ama kuimarisha. This year's edition, what are some of the sports that people, whoever are participating, first of all, you can talk about the participants. Sisi tunaweza kuwa hapa tunasema na hii si ina sound vizuri. Tunataka kuenda. Do you have a regulation in terms of who can participate? And again, the sports that people are going to participate.
Thank you for that question. And this is our second edition.
Yeah.
We learned from our first edition. The first edition was very competitive. And what happens in our church, we are divided into 3 divisions.
Okay.
Cell groups, we call them cell groups, or worship groups. And they are usually designated by geography.
Okay.
Where you reside, subject to the church. So we have Jerusalem, which is within the estate that holds the church.
Okay.
Then we have across the road, those who know green spots, upwards, we have a cell group we call Bethsaida. Then green spot downwards, anybody who lives down to as far as the airport.
Yeah.
They are the Jericho. So we have those small player groups that drive worship and fellowship beyond Sunday. Because we need God all the times.
Yeah.
And we only come to church on Sunday. So the rest of the days in the week, you can still hold your fellowship in a smaller way and have your church at that point. So we have those 3.
Yeah.
And usually they are the competitors. Every cell group has its team.
Yeah.
Okay? And so asking whether any other person can participate, no, unless they join the church.
Usifikirie utatoka huko.
Usifikirie utakuja. Last time kuna wenye walijaribu kufanya hivi.
Yeah.
Hata wakanunuliwa.
Yeah.
Unajua wale wachezaji wa kununuliwa. Sasa hiyo ilileta changamoto kubwa.
Yes.
We were not able to control
discipline. Because again, you have lazima ukuwe na regulations.
Exactly. Yeah. You are not able to control discipline of people who are not your congregants. Because why we are also bringing sport, we know it is competition.
Yeah.
And we want to see how people can behave outside the church. Unajua pale kanisani mtu aigi hapo, unanyenyekea. Hata kama uko na personality ingine, unaificha. Juu pale ni kusikiliza vile mchungaji anavyosema na kufuata taratibu. Lakini watu wakitoka nje huko, mchuano wa michezo, that is now when you release yourself. So we want to understand our congregants in a different context, their temperaments, how are they able to behave when they are engaging in a competition. competitive avenue with each other? Are they able to maintain fair play? Are they able to maintain self-control? And these are the things that we want people to run in church.
Yeah.
But they are more demonstrable when you come out in the field and in a competitive manner.
Okay.
So we have a challenge. We had a challenge last time because our field is smaller. And the church has grown.
Yeah.
And
more
everybody else want to participate in these sports.
Yes.
So what we have done, we have requested Kenyatta University to partner with us because we appreciate the
Yeah.
vast sport grounds
Yes.
they have.
Yes.
You know, previously Kenyatta University has hosted even the international sports.
Yes.
Like in 2017,
The under
18
Yes.
IAAF contests, KU was the sports village. So, in appreciation of what this institution has and looking at where we are placed as a church, we want to take advantage
Yes.
of the facility here, the expertise here, and I think this is the desire also of the university. Not to keep the expertise in here, but to open it up for the common good
Yes.
of the society.
Yes.
So by coming to KU, we hope to access the fields. Actually, we've been taken through the fields,
Yes.
and they are open for us. The lower side and the upper side to be all Canon Hesbon.
Yeah.
That way, we are able to have many people participating in different sports. We have athletics from the babies to our fathers or our grandfathers.
Yes.
We have volleyball for everybody again. We have swimming. We don't have a swimming pool at the church. So we'll be accessing the KU swimming pool for swimming competitions.
Yeah.
We have soccer for including the ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the team sports, I know individual sports, sometimes it's very easy to manage. Kama ni watoto between this age and age, it's very easy. But for team sports, do you have to make teams for, say, the youth, then ndio pia wazee pia wasikuje wapatane na vijana.
Sasa hapo nasi tumejipanga.
Yes.
We have fixtures.
Yeah.
Just like any other league would have.
Yeah.
We have our fixtures because we appreciate also the competitive nature of sports.
Yeah.
And the gender perspective in sports and also age. We respect everyone by their age. We know children cannot compete with their fathers.
Yes.
Wataumizwa. And the youth have all their energy. So we have the youth separately praying as youth.
Yeah.
So we have sports in different cohorts.
Okay.
For the kids, we even have classes for them, the fun activities for the very young.
Yeah.
But we also have competitions for the under 14, then the youth, then us now, the parents, and the elderly. We even hope to give them walking football. I don't know if you have come to know walking
Yes,
football.
walking football.
For the elderly, over 50.
Yes.
Yes, so that we are taking care of each and everyone, and we do not suffer injuries, and we get everybody to be contented.
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes when things are starting off, people don't see the end game. But sometimes there are people who plan the end game even before you reach there. It's your second edition, of course, major growth compared to the first edition.
Yes.
Is there any final plan? I know sometimes you start. I have seen teams that have started as quote unquote za wazee wa vitambi, and eventually they decide to form a professional team out of that activity. We have also had churches that have started initiative with the youth and ended up having teams that are now representing them even in the major leagues. Not just churches, supermarkets, different entities. For your case, have you foreseen something like that? Ama mnasema step by step, if eventually mtafika hapo, well and good. Because some of these youth might actually come and push you to now start thinking in that line. Because for them, they might get even more competitive na waanze kufikiria if they can even organize themselves in a more professional manner, then they can be able to fly your church flag in a major league.
That is a possibility.
Yes.
And as a church, we are very open-minded.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you start an initiative from a very humble level, and with this intention that we have,
Yeah.
of promoting physical lifestyles at the church level because we feel it is the most organized in our society, you know, to drive some of these initiatives.
Yes, the most organized and actually the easiest to pull resources.
The easiest to pull resources,
Yes.
and the easiest to have everybody on board.
Yeah.
Because on Sunday, I come with my children, irrespective of their age. I come with my spouse, irrespective. I come sometimes with my parents,
Yes.
irrespective of their age.
Yeah.
So the church is a reflection of the society, you know, the demographics
Yes.
of the society.
Yes.
And so the possibility of our sports growing to a bigger thing, we are open to growth. When I was training this week, one of the days we met, and I play volleyball,
Yes.
and we met at the volleyball pitch. We have a volleyball pitch at the church, and we played until late, about 8.
Yes.
It is dark, and you can't even see the volleyball. So that is the point we decided we are going home. And the chairman of the estate, because he was also a participant, he said, "This is something that we need to move forward." So we are open.
Yes.
If a team grows or teams grow in different sports from our church, it's a very welcome thing for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And as we play volleyball, across we have the Mabry estate.
Yeah.
There is ACK St. Matthews. The ladies there also started volleyball years back.
Yeah.
And for them, it is really developed.
Okay.
When I don't play in my church, I cross to Mabry. Then they even have a carpeted pitch. And they have a strong team.
Yeah.
So if we wake up one day and they say, let's start a league, they have a team, we have a team, that will be
And
good.
and more teams
And
now
more and more
will
teams
will keep
form.
on joining.
And this is a challenge
Yeah.
that I would also want to pose to other churches.
Yes.
That because it's a good structured unit, we can drive so much.
Okay.
This active living is never easy. At our places of work, when you sit 8 to 5, maybe there is no room for physical activity.
Yeah.
But when you go home and there is a compound within your church, because not every other homestead will have a compound to drive physical activity, I think churches should open up these facilities and their spaces for people to live active. You know why?
Yeah.
Even as we drive health and well-being, when I get sick, churches are known to be full of compassion. The first people to come to my rescue on a medical bill
Church members.
is the church members.
Yeah.
So we can reduce our contributions to health matters
Yeah.
by living and encouraging our congregants
Yeah.
and communities around us
Yes.
to remain active. I'm not saying that physical activity is the only thing that can reduce disease
Yeah.
or can is a risk factor to disease. There is much more. But all these things can be driven
Yeah.
within the church
Yeah.
as a structured unit in our communities.
Times have changed, and it's always good to see reliving moments that probably you saw them in your childhood, reliving those moments. And when I say that in respect to, for example, when I was growing up, there were so many church competitions. We used to go for inter-churches competition. I don't think most of them exist now. And sasa yangu ilikuwa ni from the Catholic side. I used also to see inter-churches even in the ACK, different churches. But with time, imeenda ikaisha. Growing up, I also used to see a lot of church hand in some of the sports team in different localities. And some could even identify with the church. Because the church would fund them, church ndio ilikuwa inafanya mambo yote, making sure that, because again, sports has been over time been seen as a weapon that can help kill a lot of vices in the society, and the church is also trying to kill a lot of the, so with the church now intermarrying with sports, inakuwa easier to reach even a wider group of people. I don't know why for you specific umeamua kurudi and do these initiatives, because not many churches are doing them now. But it's good and actually worth celebrating kuona kanisa ikikuja and ready to I don't think kuna church mingi they care about the congregation after church service. Labda kama kuna mchango, lakini mkishatoka mlango ya kanisa, let's meet next Sunday. So why is it for you iko special in this way?
I think for us it's an awakening.
Yeah. Mtaani hata wanasema kanisa ni sadaka. Ukishatoa
Kwetu sio hivyo.
yeah.
And I think we all need this awakening as a church. And again, what has happened, there is a lot of shift
Yeah.
in knowledge. Kitambo, when we were growing up personally, people thought the bigger you looked, the healthier you were,
Yeah.
and probably the richer
Yes.
you were.
Yeah.
And you see, that was a misconception.
It was the African perspective.
It was the African perspective.
Yeah.
So people really wanted to look big.
Having a big stomach
big
means you are
stomach.
wealthy.
And if you are a man and you are married
Yes.
to a lady who is big,
Yeah.
hata wazee watakwambia hata mamako
Yes.
zazi atakwambia inaonekana unamwangalia vizuri. So
Yeah.
food is in plenty.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to take you back to when we were hunters and gatherers.
Yes.
Let me take you a little bit of the transition that I'm talking about so that you see how we are positioning ourselves as a church. Many years ago, Africa and Africans were seen as the hungry nation. Msaada wowote
Africa.
ni Africa.
Yes.
Wa chakula, because we were poor, isn't it? And that time, people used to go vending for food from far off places. Our mothers would go to the market the whole day. That tells you the market was not even near.
Yes.
Okay? And we would eat what they have also farmed. There was a lot of weeding and really looking for food,
Yeah.
which was scarce. And the little money they would get, they would go looking for food very far.
Yeah.
So what that meant is that they didn't have so much to eat, and they were also having a lot of walking to do.
Yeah.
So physical activity for them was a must,
Yes.
because you don't walk to the market, there is no food to give to your kids. You don't go to the farm and weed, again there is no food. But then again, with the knowledge, education,
Yes.
industrialization,
And
technology
yeah.
advancement,
Yeah.
si tulipelekwa shule?
Yes.
Tulipelekwa shule kwa nini? Tupate kazi nzuri,
Yes.
ndio tuweze kufanya nini? To feed our kids.
Yeah.
And so, through this industrialization and technological advancements, my mother never drove. I don't remember never driving.
Yes.
I pick my kids to school and back to school. So they don't walk. Me, I walked to school.
Yeah.
So physical activity that time was spontaneous. It was the way of life. Today, I am not vetting for food.
So in
I
terms,
live near the supermarket.
yes.
So I can
our
even
lifestyle
call.
changed.
They have changed.
Yes.
With a phone call, I have all my groceries dropped in my house. So with the reduction of physical activities, what have we seen? Food is ready. Sometimes you don't even have to cook.
Yes.
Ask Grovo to bring you food that is ready, and they'll drop it at your doorstep.
Yes.
So with the time, what has happened, we have started becoming bigger and healthier,
Yeah.
and disease has set up. Non-communicable lifestyle diseases, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases,
Yes.
they have found our way because of our lifestyle. But then we have knowledge explosion. We cannot live any time further as ignorant, because we know it is this our lifestyle of being inactive, it is this our lifestyle of poor feeding that is causing us disease.
Yes.
So the awakening and the knowledge, it is with us. We are the experts who are attending those churches.
Yes.
And we feel we have an obligation to drive the agenda of fitness, health living, at the church level.
Yes.
Because even if I sat with all the knowledge I have, if I died today, I would die with it.
Yes.
But if I share, I will be doing God's work.
Yes.
So we have this
Your knowledge
generation.
has to impact,
yes,
to be impactful
we
in
have
the
a
society.
generation of
Yes.
people that are saying, we want to give back.
Yes.
We want to bring our brothers and our sisters to the level we are with knowledge. Knowledge that they can use at no cost.
Yes.
And change their lifestyle.
Yes.
Because my sister comes to that church, my brother comes to that church, live active, delay disease, I am saved.
Yes.
Because sitaitishwa pesa ya kwenda hospitali.
Yeah.
So it is an awakening, and which I would challenge most of us to take it up. That we share the expertise we have, we share the knowledge that we have with our people, so that maybe we can have a better society, which has a reduction in the burden
Yes.
of disease. And not just disease. Coming Sunday, which is it that?
Yes, yes. It's supposed to be that.
4th, 5th. Coming Sunday
Yes.
is 5th after the
5th of May. Yes.
Yeah, 5th
Yes.
of May.
Yes.
We know there is the competence-based education. But if you ask how many congregants understand about
4th of May.
Yes,
Yes.
about competence-based education,
Yeah.
not many are versant with what is happening. Yani wanangoja tu siku ziende.
Yes.
Ama mtoto akuje na newsletter vile mwalimu amesema. So as a church, we are having an expert that Sunday to give civic education matter CBE.
Yes.
So that our brothers and sisters who have kids at the lower grades or the upper grades, or those that are transitioning to grade 10, at least waambiliwe pale kwa kanisa.
Sikuulizana umesema ako grade gani? Hiyo ni gani?
So we
Yes.
want to challenge that
Yeah.
churches, because they are organized, you not be heckled in the church. It's not like a political campaign. Church watu huanga wametulia. Na vile wametulia, wengi wao husikiza na wengi wao husaidia.
Yes.
Yes, so us as the experts and experts out there, use the church platform to give what you have. You also gain from others. Yeah? And tutakuwa tumesonga mbele sisi wote kama nchi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daktari, closing it off, let's touch on tomorrow. The event starts at what time?
At 11.
Mpaka saa ngapi?
Mpaka 5.
By 11 ni African time ama ni ile 11?
Kwetu hakunanga African time.
Okay.
By the way, we have a very disciplined clergy.
Okay.
Reverend George. Tunaanzanga kanisa saa 3.
Yes.
Hata kama ni watu wawili wameingia kanisani, yeye anaanzia.
So what
we
happens
have
to the mass?
The mass,
we have the mass?
We have our mass.
Yes.
We usually go to mass from 9.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we usually have 2. There is one that goes 9 to 11, then another one from 11 to around 12:30.
Okay.
So tomorrow, whenever we have such activities that are involving everyone,
Yeah.
we do one combined service.
Okay.
So our combined service is starting at 9 a.m. We'll do it for only 1 hour, 30 minutes in the church. Out there, we have partners. We are not doing this alone.
Yeah.
Like KUTV, you are our partner.
Yes.
Now you have given us a platform to talk about what we do
Yes.
and what we do best. You are our partners.
Yes.
We also have KU, who are our partners that have allowed us to come actually not only use the grounds,
Yeah.
but even the referees.
Yes.
They are members of staff here and students of exercise and sports science.
Yeah.
Out there we have Lakewood group of schools.
Yes.
You know what? They have given us buses to ferry people from the church to KU and back.
Yes.
So no one should say I don't
So
have
everything
transport.
is well organized, handled out.
So immediately after 10:30, because
Yes.
that is when the mass will end, buses zitakuwa zimetungoja pale ndio tuletwe hapa tuanzane na michuano.
So it's more
exactly
of a ni kama professional setup.
Oh yeah.
Toka unakuja.
Ehe.
So 11 to 5.
5.
Yes.
5 we end up with a closing ceremony. Do you know we even have medals and trophies for the winning teams? Yes. So we'll have a closing ceremony to award the medals and the trophies. Last year, Jericho took the gold trophy.
Yes.
Sasa sisi ndio wa Jerusalem. Mimi nachezea Jerusalem. Yes. Tunaona kama
this time ni nyinyi.
Nyinyi sisi tuta celebrate.
Yeah. Next time pia muongeze hapo invite team hata moja. Yes. An away team. Yes, an away team just to spice up the competition.
It is something
and maybe you can include it hata kama ni the youth level or you decide ni wazee wakuje and then
that would be a friendly match.
Yes, and it sometimes inaweza trickle down to the invite team might go and start the same thing.
You never know.
And within no time you realize kuna so many competitions za kuleta watu pamoja with initiatives maybe physical make sure watu wako in better physical status.
Better physical status and also social status.
Yes.
Let me tell you something that happened with this edition, because last year I didn't play. I had a fracture on this leg. That came from a spike. I'm a strong spiker in volleyball. So I got a fracture last year playing volleyball. So I never trained last year. This year, through the trainings, I have met so many people who are congregants in the church. Wenye tunapatana tu ni zile za high, ordinarily. But this time round, because we are playing in the field together, maybe on one side or a different side, nimejua hata watoto wao.
Yes.
So it's a socializing agent. Actually, sport is a universal language to socialize people, to keep people healthy, and the vices, as you said, because if you can observe discipline of a penalty, I am sure when we get back to our settings, we can observe the discipline of drug abuse.
Yes.
And we can kill so many vices out there when we use sport as the platform to engage our young people.
Yes.
And to engage all of us.
Daktari sana, thank you for your time. Nimefurahi sana. I think you have shared so much information about the annual sports day. And again, so much insights in terms of physical health. I'm glad kuna watu wengi sana wametazama kipindi na wamefurahi. Maybe a parting shot for the people who are planning to attend and tufungie hapo.
Thank you, Peter. Parting shot for congregants of Canon Hesbon. Tomorrow we were allowed to come in our sports gear.
Yes.
For the church service.
Hakuna mtu atakuangalia vibaya kama umekuja na.
Hakuna kuangalia vibaya. Tutokeleze pale tukiwa ready to compete and to also have fun. For those that are not playing the individual sports, come with vuvuzeras.
Yes.
So that you can cheer up your teams.
Yes.
And for those who may want to also join that are not congregants of Canon Hesbon, come on board to see.
Yes.
You can also learn a thing or two so that we can start these initiatives, as many of them in our society.
Interactions hazijafungwa specific.
Na wakitaka pia kuongezewa maarifa wanavyoanzia kwa makanisa baribari. We are there. We are available as a training team. We can teach them, we can show them, we can work with them. But my challenge to all that are watching, let us keep active. For our health is our wealth. Thank you.
Asante sana daktari. Mtazamaji, imekuwa ni mazungumzo mazuri sana kuhusiana na ACK Canon Hesbon Parish Annual Sports Day ambayo inafanyika kesho tarehe 27 kutoka saa 5 hadi saa 11. Ukitazama runinga unaona ndio hizo details hapo. Kama unataka kuja kuona mambo yakifanyika ama kanisa watu wakiungana na kufanya mambo ya makuzi, you are invited. Alafu pia kwa timu zote ambazo zitakuwa zinawakilisha heri kwenye michuano. I think it's a very good initiative and I'm looking forward actually to have even wider conversation na wewe in other aspects. I know your point ya whether you guys are going to think of doing it bigger and finally eventually having something professional, whether ni volleyball, doesn't have to be specific football, any sport yenye mnaona ndio mko sawa. I think hiyo ni conversation you can push through.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
Get there.
Mtazamaji, niruhusu nichukue pumziko fupi alafu narejea na mazungumzo mengine kisha twenzetu. Hii ni KUTV on the spot, usiende mbali.